that he's not happy with the interview.
Hey,
yes. Wafra Jumera that he or no our interview no what Jimmy Sanwa Yabusa Asma on to me no. He is not happy.
say Bisana Sam.
I say Yabusa no Ghana Sam no want to be anyano, Nani Anyahu. Nam catch and say next time we Jimmy microphone soon.
Now them say
Bomano.
Yet here I show our frame as a resource person and membrano. Who say some of the platforms yet one more near frame producer say next week my name baby.
That's all.
Oh yeah.
Ah, won't dia tem won't can be some. How is it that so we have media houses say independent too? Baby, I'm coming. Why is it that we should have independent media houses? So then a political party MPP 40 or national headquarters normal slots. It is sometimes important. You know that NDC Sankasa members are representing 30 media houses. And your body say Sani Power the Onya the Mofanenko. Do you know that is true? Me have been no many experience in India. Omutubika said no. This particular topic we did, men far way back. And you know, they will be embarrassing on the topic, no. And I night say NDC for they don't know what I say.
But all say NDC as a political party. Omo now sorry you sad the and
They have never done that.
Say Omo interest said the other radio should be a form they don't mind. They don't care.
But that is wrong.
I say okay, Mpacho, my memory to me, I am wrong because of a nearma. For not Ghana for, but in natural sense, no, and Kasani run a country. Say on mine as a party in government, you don't sit down, waste your time thinking how to manipulate private media and even the government. You know, it's unnecessary. What do you say? But also, I want more what you say a governance.
Yeah.
But in the civilized world, look, who is going to call who that we don't need this person? People say worse things.
You see, Kwabena, what I think about this whole say, it is wrong for a political party to sit and fold arms and watch things happen naturally.
No, you know a different issue. Me say, the many way come on busa say the entire crop for media for na me chen say media for about 3 factors. And on where be one dance.
Yeah.
They can call a Jumeura. And this will not do that because it's a good governance.
Yeah.
And they are not to be can say and this is
okay, no. I know it must not happen.
What you say? Then another issue of threatening people about what they say. Then umo media needs can know a video no. These are a criminal world. And as I did, and American ones say NDC they don't have time doing that. To say NDC waha obia kasa free. Because nobody will come to you in the night with national security. Nobody will chase you.
Yeah.
Nobody will video you.
Yeah.
Obia enfre ojumewura. Say yeni say me one day kwasichum jeche and na lady be a HR multimedia. We had a meeting. Me kasi kwasichum anim praying fa. And that is why after me yime you know. And before frame say me nkopa kwasichum na chaw me yes me nko say kwasichum yire pe me nim ni fie me nko say ne ba bia pe me nim ne ba bia ni krom kwawu me nko bu dan mu ho me nko twa nka mu
kwasichum ofi kwawu
oye kwa ni microphones ne so me ntu bi nkotoni endi me nko pa na cha sem fa cha sai fam ya dwuma menye
me pa cha menye bone nso fa cha me
fa cha me don ga sia sem asantini akola ya tiseme ma ko gina kwasichum anim ma ka cha sem fa cha menye bone nso fa cha me wajiminti na me krom asantima po jimini mfiri ho
kwase ni mampom
to be catch am praying say me Bobie Ansah me come papa da camera so ofin so kokote menye the ope bia ye and at this point we don't have any option than to let you go home. Now go home. Some my dad them. I'll go home. But anyway, Baba Joe mine I say no. ya ka kira wo say akwa we ye boni ni susu money tinimu obese o man no na so so nti ase a over to you Jolate do your worst. What can you do? I don't have it behind me. What do you mean? 8 years ni me need question view, but I am okay. So the point is other guys they don't have that heart. They don't have that lion's heart. They can't go that far. They can't go to the last limit. Say, look, at this point, the basic. They can't. Because they want to live a high life. No, they just fridge.
Or their condition.
Or they just fridge. But the point is, so far in this MPP, the reason why people are quiet now, the system has been bribed. This to what one will become gold bar. Gold bar. Yeah, the gold bar check.
But him say, Mikoshia MPP penny will be pa na, and Amama ye alarmed. That's why I said the opposition parties, they must rise up above the normal politics na you know. Do you know that the Biameka say under this government say you complaining to say Pualugu Sikaya almost 253 million yakoji ya budget for enkodu. Unim say project na buy no unim say nyama koche we say nyina no they don't care or see they have put in place plans on the berreke December 7th election and all the stakeholders especially the media now mo be use no it unim say problem bi wo no mo instead say o me use 10 million that's solve problem no o me use 5 million the media
exactly that is what they are doing
instead say like everyone say yes yo Kolebu urinal center machine break it down you hear $400,000 I can fix it there be no akuku $400,000 no they akoko media 5-7 chair sa asem no mama yen mboso my kanipa ni we nya asem.
Do you know what nearly happened in the last election, Karan? During the last election, I had to walk out of a meeting, which meeting was by some MPP bigwigs, and they were trying to get me to get them closer to John Mahama, to decide as to how to get people to attack radio stations, because they had knowledge about plans Akufo-Addo war to use some media firms to call the election. And until say attack some media firms now so maybe the omo John Mahama hona omo akra boys ombe use boys to attack the media firms because Akufo-Addo through Gabinom I use a certain way be or the media guys no be call the election against John Mahama while winning the election. I walked out because I saw a snitch among us in the meeting. Today the snitch is working with Bawumia. I was in that meeting. He knows himself. The snitch has metamorphosed from being part of us and working with Bawumia. When I questioned why Wakwako joined Bawumia camp, or say yeah serious.
Na Bawumia is serious.
Yes, or say Bawumia de obe boama omo dibone.
Okay.
Edi awene.
You have tried.
But John Mahama, that I explained to him, said John, mean ko kasa say mo nchire John Mahama.
Worry.
Because you're too gentle to want to ever be part of any criminal.
John Mahama will never do that.
Or attacking media firm. But Kwabena, I think say I'm tempted to believe say we are fooling.
There be Obi be Hello? 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 Aja?
Hello?
Afa 500 no. Hello? Otibenka. Hello? Pato Otibenka.
Yeah, Pato Mituka.
Pato Frose.
Oh, network no, move breaking.
Oh, too bad. All right, so that's it. Anyway, we have our first winner for the CMG Scratcher there. You start for 1-3 hash. With me, I to draw. Since na you just follow processes no. Na on our corner. Mesiaba studio. All right, so
yeah. Anyway. Those things no.
Anyway,
me no. The reason why I think say we are being foolish is because
amamu ka say na ye no.
Dear John no ye no
is the best.
But Kwabena,
allow everybody to express himself.
Kwabena, it is not so spiritually and biblically when you see wrongs go on and you think Jesus Christ will treat abano.
You know, but me Bobie there, I will never preach say a Kufuadu use crude method. So any other government also use the same crude method.
No,
I don't buy into it.
Before, let's not jump it.
Okay.
Where I'm talking about is when you know, say, they have plans to rig an election.
Onya Juma, Onya Shi, not the answer.
Juma na was one year. Na Gianni say also we election. Na what they was say? Me yen high because me mpese bia moja bi begu ana se bia obi ho beka.
Oh so owi anya hwe. Yen Ghana for.
Say owi anya hwe sana wo ka.
Say sana tie dia. Any then let's leave it.
Oh, we will not leave it.
Oh, because
we will not leave it.
And your man, ama.
Yeah, yeah, Ghana for yes. Oh, you are.
When Omako join it, Baumia, Omo Crown First system doesn't know them, but another system knows them. CCI, they are working in the favor of Baumia and your man. It's because they have said, say, John Mahama, and ya dear. Obe peneso say bi kura mpo a obi disia twa
no kra u twa ere
but me so no dey me tufo say Pentecost of kura no ni fie ni mi atu
oh we am na ere ye Ghana for say Ghana ni net so yes sir
because okay but me mom there I have seen say the only thing that will help. It may not be because of NDC or John Mahama. The Ghanaian people will not allow for it to happen.
Now you are talking.
Meme die mehu sa de.
Say Ghana for be pressure Baumia. Ka kire sa wo nipa no. So minim nipa kro ye okọ Baumia wo no. Ya do omu fie, omu busua na ye be sha se afiri wo. Ka kire no.
Ba unim say
be sha se afiri wo omu busua fie.
Me na me strong room.
Yeah, unim dia Ghana for unim plans of Ghana for. Udi obe hundu ambe Baumia.
That is the only thing.
Yeah. Obi only police phone go ya dio.
Unim say Kwabena dem dia say udi na ma me catch us say. Ayana NDC for omu behavior no I don't get it so much because I say me ma en hame because I've seen things come naturally to face these people.
Oh yes.
And yes, I can't be a camera better radio so because I say don't get me who now can ye. Fifi quete me who now can ye. Me who obi anke kai hey Yamin cried was shocking me to my marrow. Yamin what the Facebook and a Twitter photo. Yamin, hey, do you know what job there is that you are undertaking?
Yeah.
Organizer.
Yeah.
Organizer has not even organized one demonstration in this country.
Okay,
one. Yamin was shocking me. Was shocking me to my marrow say. Eti Yamin now tia bontia now ye de nyina. By that position me Ansah ye kodidi nyina. Ebinita aboso. Hey, Yamin was shocking me too much.
Yeah.
And I'm not so reliant on them because Kwabena, if now we are in the street.
Yeah, now me want Mampong over the weekend.
Hey.
Many MPP boys be say busuan for like my cousins and your kotra baby. And about ko catch them say well who say boys be free she be aba behind dan go kromo na MPP for na de omo ba be ya adwuma na omo nyina ya MPP for omo nim kwaye a omo do ombe fa so wonim say efum sa akode ekọ
yes
independent bolo cruso ko independent acheremade
yes
na ekwaye acheremade any tunsomfo ni zongo for be ka boma ya MPP for no
man point is gone
chebi for no also on crofo no free chebi they will run ombe dwane me so ombe omo hunu so ombe fa kofiase o so ombe fa chirimfa so ombe yusunsu taw so ombe yusom primo omo hu ba bi ombe fa ya twasa na ba ko de ka atwam na MPP for boys no frame say bra ba ko na ekono na me so de gya no de munya wo mo so mo so ombe sra wo mo omo ensenum na ayi jankoma e ho na ofiri ntino omo na so gya wo mo ye nyina ye ba kiro mo say ye wo krom ha ansa na omo firi chebi abetena krom ho ombe hu so unim MPP for na be sori omo so
MPP for na that's the whole secret
enkoma enkoso nyina MPP for no and the best sorry.
But you see, you don't have to be casual. Kwabena was strong room 2020 elections, you know. And I can tell you, say, some of the happenings, you know. And yet you have to be deliberate about certain things. Casual. You don't have to be too casual in a room. Yet you go, me met me raise concern, say no, normally what I say. Obesheno. Ni aba, ye beto aba, matchroom party CEO, ni akwa assemble be say 8, ni opposite nipa 2, ni ete ho no bi anka bi. Mi wa no na political party be there why yes every now and then every minute be a national officer onka event saying set strong room yes submitted yes submitting crofo nipa onka wo bo say we aba na crofo room ho na pie ye be pie be ba na vile mudu na sasa all these things you know you planning. That is my concern say won't nothing extra hands esa na at the end of the day you be you know near sanso the Ansah be good.
But minia enka o mind to say Ghana, should we get to that point? But young count policy, makame policy about to do swa, obi atu no 1-1, way to correct no coffee. We are to we are ya collecting fair. Yes, assume sin we new Ghana for so on to us. Ghana for so we imra di obi akoni fie yehia ya trase ye didi ya sere ye koye baby obi nko obi fie nko sere aduane o se no won tiase because you want power to destroy the country.
Yes.
And you use every way and means. Okay.
But I'm say, Nina emanating from the fact to say some people have some superiority complex. Be some more Ghanaians. Che bi no munti. Unim say, uno mudin komo in their mind, you know. Omumbu. I mean, like, like you know, it's that disrespect. No, it's that disrespect. And that thing.
I before come home. Why when you are MPP who say no? Would you me a chain takes in?
Me kwa busa almost say. Send I must say as a man for more trouble about Matani. Now, patch about me out free. Robert Daffo ye Kwabena so that dear by you. It is a dear, you really put a pusage. And I'm so very pusage. Hey, you can't remember us when trouble Matani.
Nadia got 2 a.m. Muamusimudi Mukrampo, Mukramusutrayan. The Biamusu say, Nipe Kamunimua, and Kayanimua. Guta, Sankro for your Macasay.
Yeah.
If you know them personally, you will know. See, MPP for champ. And no more like come say no mistake. I'm bomb san no de kwa bloshi. Na ko kantamanto. Na ko even say abosiokan. We talk to people. Na obi ko clear car part keke. Car part a door. Unim say COVID-19 levy that door no so keke na or clear no pono. More than 700 cedi. Meanwhile, the Nankasa no first no you turn more than 1,500. So they know people are angry. Say, Nkofu we disappointed. But you see, the anger is not enough. The way I think say we have been too lenient with Nanado. See me, people see me and they question me. Say, also when you one man the mobile, I don't know how team you. And me myself, I blame myself. Say, yeah, man from where did total. But you see, 8 months, 7 months. 6 months aka we I'm telling you say as a Ghana for mom who so waka see those people are mobile honum and they say a friend is saying a red carpet ne yomo debi they don't deserve red carpet omoba mutun kosia ikosia mbo manim let them have X in their faces that's what they deserve
sir Ansah omo ka so mo be wiem because omo nim say Ghana for adwena sesa. And I keep on telling Samuel Kunum. Say obi ani police ni koye oh. So abusu afoti akropon.
I know na how say ni ka say danduru waka.
Say obi ani police ni ko.
Danduru wa.
Just omo for omo police for no omo omo na security for no omo fie no omo chem obi a 1111 na o guard ho. Because nobody will waste time at the polling station. You started at the polling station. Na bi no shall say wo fie. They don't know. They don't know.
My main cancer. You
know
what I take consolation in? You see, what I take consolation
they don't know
is the fact that all the security forces services ni na bomwa. Omunru 100,000.
Yo.
Omunru 100,000. Ghana Armed Forces okamu na bomwa omunru 13,000. 13,000.
Welcome 8 10 obi anka hwe. Ubekum bio.
Ghana Police Service omo edoso 52,000.
Oh omunru
52 omo population in 52,000. 52 plus 13. Are you saying? 5 2 13 5. So 63,000. Fire service Odumja. Kwabena omududu nyina enu 5,000. Prisons almost same. Okamu nyina boma omunu 100,000. Omo nyina so abusua Sadia na see what 30 man south no. I was in north or south?
30 man south.
Yeah ma kwasia Jimmy I aboy be ye MP Jimmy for no. Ma teje men sa kosa krasi ni Jimmy no. Obe ye MP no. Yeah moja okum nipa de be ye MP no. Kwabena we very prominent when people more. But who buying? Because you see, Obia Nebusuani aye ye
omunkum crofobio.
Afra say no. Afra say na yakoto abado. Say ye no omu nye
even with
ye be ye kura na. Ye be ma ye na ye fe. Wo ye na mesme ye.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Also be
because
what you ye we so jani awo kwa me ba busuafo so ye yo.
Me ba divine. Yes. Eti kromo a wakum 10. Ukum 10. Christian cancer and kashi. Peace cancer and kashi. The president himself. At least ebia asema 2 years. Enya de papa. Ye ba hwehwem krofo kro. Ya omo ye sa ade no. Na embra no omo adi. Dabi Joe Fu concert boy no kojina parliament catch say we a criminal now don sako kan ballot paper enye 20 years e boku ni enye ode okay
we na Carlos ni nam ho
yeah na Carlos afa ballot paper awie yeah ware on dey ware no ono ni nam ho ya monitor
with impunity on nam ho
enti this time around, the ordinary boys and girls on the street will let you understand that nobody will go and waste time on a policeman or actually to avoid this near Kuno.
Who was no? Yes,
your friend nearby police station. They will report at the nearby police. The next house, I will boost your fee.
Na Sabi, na me na poku. Wako me this year. Na Akufo-Addo your president. Me kabje me kamaye. Am here the matumbi. Na Akufo-Addo na wako jina microphone nim na wako cast speech. We are there your president.
Debut.
Now then.
But
one day born, one day die.
The point is
now na bet me akwa ye nsuom nam.
Unim de omo yesu.
Adan ya oba no. Wono de oye nipa chen me mabusuani no me this year no.
Unim de nti omo yesa de no. Now omo suma omo nkola no so they should go around the country telling them, hey, MPP di omo nyem
Unim enu ni asemo a memeti a. Unim say si anoma yo madwin say. Yenje mu masa akọ.
Unim de ntia.
Mu use yenje mu masa akọ ano.
Meba unim de ntia omo yesa. Omo yesa pe se be ya those who want to vote for John Mahama will not waste time.
Yes.
A tactics, a psychological warfare.
They want to bring apathy where apathy.
Yes, they want to bring apathy. But
how can apathy in an opposition party?
Yenim dia ya be ye wo.
Ono anani abre na wo petumi.
Yedim
ono onya ye no.
So why not you say o see yenje mu?
You see, but do you know that message now when they call around?
Yes, yes.
It is militarizing the grassroots. It is giving energy to the downtrodden, the one that is meek and weak and feeling say me kotwaba ajeme se bre free won sam wo
bra ya bra ko wu
me no me kwa akwaji me kotwaba ajeme 2 million free won sam wo so fa ma me eduru ho a wo behu look me na me dey o because look anybody that was ever informed about say nentin ko foi omosi abano mo we ni kro mo fa ma mo ne ba ne sa mbe den ubo sa won ka hwe o onu agina ho sa ane se gade besi onu na ye kan sa ne che no mi minimum pp fo a on aduma kisi constituency wo ena me mo mudin executives bi omudin komana me ye say voice they say the election here some cry some ya we ne kura mo fa man of the chief me catch na mo mama ni nya di yo na ye kura ye nto executives party executives
or your full analysis in tandem with Guta meeting and everything.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Okay, so at your friend and sir interview if you want I have interview on Joy Joy TV, right? With Akakpo. So credit no Joy TV and yeah because a national issue and it needs to be discussed and we are just playing it back. Our office baby take your time and listen to Professor Frimpong Boateng with Akakpo on Joy TV. Yes, we are ready.
But the Cardiothoracic Center, your brainchild. Tell us about your journey, how it all started, from studying in Germany to wanting to come back to Ghana and serve. Walk us through that journey.
Well, it's a very long journey. I don't know whether we have the time to go. But just when I get to a point, you stop me. It started when I decided to do my postgraduate in Germany. And so I left Ghana in April 1978 to study the German language first for 6 months. And then I got a place to study at the Hanover Medical School. Actually, that is the only medical university in Germany.
Wow.
Dedicated to medicine. And so because the person who invited me, who accepted me, was a cardiothoracic surgeon, I decided to stay with him. Because Germany, we need that kind of protection. And so, although initially I wanted to do trauma and orthopedics, I decided to stay with them. And so I did cardiothoracic surgery. And then later on, there were really 3 or 4 reasons that solidified my resolve to do cardiothoracic surgery. Because when I was in Ghana, there was a time we were medical students, and there was a young girl called Teresa, who had a hole in her heart. And the newspapers were soliciting for funds to send this girl abroad for surgery. But they were not successful. And unfortunately, Teresa died. It stuck with me. And then a friend of mine, Kwabena, who in the rental school in Career, he finished from 4, went to Kumasi to learn shoemaking. You know, shoemakers have a wooden board they put on their laps, and they use a small sharp knife to cut the leather. One day, the knife slipped into his groin and cut the big artery in the groin, supplying the whole of the right leg. So he was taken to the big hospital in Kumasi. Those days, we didn't have the experts, we didn't have the material and to do things. So my friend lost his leg. The whole leg was disarticulated. And so he lost the leg. Then the third reason was that we all know Professor Ismon, who performed the first open heart surgery in Ghana in 1964. But after the coup, he stopped, and then a lot of things were happening in Kolebu, and he wasn't happy, so he stopped heart surgery. So when I was in Germany, I said, well, with my knowledge, my attitude, and the way I look at things, if I don't go back to Ghana to continue from where Ismon left, it might take 50 years, 100 years before another person will come. Or maybe it may not happen at all. That was the third reason. The fourth one was very personal. My own father, who died before I was born, died at the age of 24. And my mother was, I think, 5 months pregnant with me. Wow. And apparently, he was traveling from Bibiani to Kumasi to buy some things for his business. And he had an accident on the way and died. He didn't die on the spot. Apparently, he died from injuries to the chest injuries, internal bleeding at the age of 24. So I said, well, maybe then I better do this so that I will save young men so that their children will not be semi-orphans.
So that's basically how the journey began.
The journey began. And then but when I came back, interesting enough, my own mother had an aneurysm of the aorta. Wow. And I had to operate on her. Because those days, I was
the only person... You operated on your own mother?
Yes. I was the only person who could do that. But later on, of course, we trained people and then...
What was it like, though, knowing that your own mother's life was in your hands?
No, I shut off. As soon as I go to the theater and see, then I disconnect at all. Because if you don't do it, I'm not that emotional. This was the first time I've operated on relatives. So I shut off and then I did my job. And she was well.
And interspersing the conversation, you would see some of the pictures and maybe even videos will be sprinkling in there in respect of Prof and his work. But let me come to Ghana. What did it take to put up the cardiothoracic center we know now? Because this was basically your sweat, your blood, your effort. You did something that no one probably does. I mean, you came and all of this was on your shoulders. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was difficult, but I was determined. I knew, my mother was very young. My father died 24 years. I don't come from a rich family. But one thing I know is that we came to this world with nothing and we'll go with nothing. And so I was determined to do something. The money was not my focus. I wanted to do something. And so when I came down, the Germans were prepared to give us surprise credit to buy the equipment, but they said they were not going to build for us. And the government was not in a position to build for us. So I started.
Which period was this?
Well, this is 1989.
Okay.
So
the PNDC.
That was PNDC.
Was
that was Chairman Rawlings, who was the head of state at the time. But he did very well. I mean, I give him full marks because, strangely enough, I had never seen him before, never saw him until the day he came to commission the center on the 4th of April, 2nd April 1992. And so what he did told me that he did that not out of political expediency, but a genuine concern for the health needs of the people. So I admired him, and I made sure I wrote to him to thank him for what he did. And not only him, his people, Kwesi Boche was very helpful.
Professor Kwesi Boche, of blessed memory.
Yes. P.B. Obin also, Misata, strangely enough, all gone.
You mean the former vice president?
Yes. He was a deputy minister, deputy secretary for health those days. He was deputy to Kwesi Boche in the finance ministry. And Owusu Ajay from Winnipeg also, he was there in the MPP those days. And then Nana Kweku Sapon was brilliant, Ato Ahoy. He started everything. Mrs. Grant was more or less a mother to me, and he was very concerned. But the difficulties I had was from my own colleagues, in Kumasi, especially in Kolebu. People were just bent on making sure that the thing didn't come on.
Wait, hold on.
I've chronicled
everything. You
were
trying to resuscitate, because this person you had mentioned had done something in that area and then got frustrated and left.
Yeah.
You came down, spent your time, your own resources to put something up, and you're telling me that your colleague medical practitioners, doctors, were trying to sabotage you.
Yes.
To what end?
Well, so it doesn't come on at all. I mean, I'm saying this, I'm not conjuring stories. I've chronicled all these things in a book, Deep Down My Heart. Maybe we'll come to that later on. So I don't want to go into those details.
Let's talk about them now.
Which one?
I mean, some of these challenges you face from your own, those in the medical fraternity.
For example, that I should not be given a ward. I didn't have a ward to admit patients when I came initially, when I had no ward. That's why I was determined to build. I didn't have an operating theater. I didn't have people to help me. I didn't even have doctors to help me. In the first few years, I was alone, taking blood from patients, taking them to the lab, running all the errands that house officers should be doing. I did all these things. And people were just trying to make sure that things became tough and we wouldn't get on. And even someone suggested to the head of anesthesia that he should go and fiddle with the equipment on the intensive care unit so that when patients are put in them, they will die and I'll be discredited.
Goodness me, no. I don't think you're saying what I think you're saying.
I'm saying this.
Someone wanted the head of anesthesia to fiddle with equipment so that people would die and you would be
I'll be discredited. Heart patients that are operated on will not survive and I'll be discredited. So the head of anesthesia told him to put it on paper.
What he was saying.
Yes, for implementation.
Of course, he would not be able to.
Of course, he will not do it. So he came to me. The head of anesthesia came to me and said, Kwabena, be careful of this man. And of course, what that person did subsequently told me that I had to be very careful.
Have you ever felt, I mean, at that time, and we'll come to even the current dispensation, has your life ever been threatened?
My life?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, no, I will not say so. Maybe through some other means, but not direct physical threat.
Not direct physical threat.
But people try to do some things. Someone invited me to a party, and from what he was behaving and what people were telling me, I didn't have to be a soothsayer to decline that invitation.
There was an attempt on your life,
Yes,
you suspected.
yes.
Let's go back to Korle Bu, and I want to walk through a few things when it comes to Korle Bu before we move on. The Cardiothoracic Center is now what, 35 years?
35 years.
35 years.
Look at how time flies. 35 years. When I came down, I was a very young man, 39.
And now look at you. After all the years, decades, and now you've grayed. I look at some of your pictures from back then, and I look at you.
Look at my gray,
But that's life. When you look at the center now, what do you see?
The center deteriorated after I've left, because of the way I was driven out. But then now...
Why do you use the term driven out?
I was asked to leave. It's just like driving God away from the universe He created. They were behaving like atheists. Atheists are people, I think, who drive God away from the universe He created. Anyway, so, but now we have a director, in the person of Professor Mark Tete, who is trying to, bridge gaps and do things, and I think he's doing very well, and he needs our support. We have to support him.
Do you feel the Cardiothoracic Center could have been bigger, better, offering, because you look at Korle Bu and the role it plays in the West African sub-region, and this is not now, even in the Gaggisberg era, it had been playing that role. Do you feel there are missed opportunities, that it could have been better than what it is now?
Oh, yes. In fact, 3 years before I left, I started a program, first of all, to train people. That's the first thing. Train people. Some doctors were sent to South Africa to learn pediatric heart surgery. One was sent to India. I wanted to send one to Canada to specialize in some areas of heart surgery. And then we designed a new cardiothoracic center, a big block, and we thought we could get land in Legon, because the medical school has, I think, 400 acres of land. That was what was reserved by Nkrumah for the medical school.
You mean the University
Legon,
of Ghana campus?
Ghana, yes, campus.
Right.
So I did a presentation before the Vice Chancellor, with the drawings and everything, but we did not get the support. Basically, we wanted 20 acres so that we could build a new cardiothoracic center there, but it didn't work. And also, the director who took over from me was not interested in any new project and so on. And so I left, and that's what happened. But you are right. There should be, because we were on top. I mean, when we started, we were just at par with many heart surgery heart centers in the world, not in Africa. When I'm doing something, I do something to the world standard. I don't like cliches like Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, or West Africa, sub-region. No. We aim at the world standards, and that's where we are. We were. But then, now the technology is also old, using 1990 technologies in many areas. And we need training. We need to train more people, anesthetists, surgeons, nurses, technicians in many fields in heart surgery. Heart surgery is very complex. And so, but we lag behind, and now we need to fight very hard to come up again.
Speaking of heart surgery, if you go back into the centuries, at a point it was contemplated that you could operate on every other organ but the heart. It was a no-go area scientifically.
Yes.
And then I think sometime in the 19th century, it was proven that it is indeed possible.
1896.
Exactly.
Actually, even before then, there was a black person, Dr. Hale Williams in the US, 4 years before the official date. He performed the first heart surgery, but he was not recognized in the US.
The typical stereotype.
Yes, and then until 1896, when one German, Ludwig Rehm, did the first heart surgery. That is, there was a wound on the surface of the heart and he stitched it. And that was the first open heart surgery.
For you, at the cardio center, while you were there, what are some of the milestones in terms of heart surgery you performed that readily come to your mind? The new innovations that we brought to the world, and not just surgeries, like there were many of them. But then, for example, we were the first in Ghana to safely operate on patients with sickle cell disease who needed heart surgery. Because, yes, because throughout the world, they say they have low hemoglobin, and so they will give them, they make stage transfusion, and thereby introduce infection. No, but we said, and also that you cannot expose sickle cell patients to cold, because even when the weather gets cold, they get into crisis. Yeah. But we devised a way of operating on them.
The reason why your boss had the way, and now more your documentary be heart attack diseases arise across cardiovascular diseases, and the rate kikakono. So I have spoken to Professor from Pomboatin on this matter on phone in private, and it seems like ye ko aprobo ye din komo, but nobody talks about it. But you know, so ne yarea clear and crofopa as we speak now, because of the kind of foods we eat and other nema you consume. And I don't know, Divine, just 10 minutes on this particular matter, because yeah, politics, but our own health. Even, I don't know, Mpachonko from Fanchemi, Sebia will be Kokano Boneswa, but even our brother of Kwabena Kwache. Yeah. That is what I heard. I don't know, Mpacho. Me who any evidence be I say need any cardio disease Mpacho. But that is what I heard, Mpacho. Mr. Mo. Me family who be atisembat we nipa nipa, and bet me to be at any point in time. Just quick comments on it.
Unim say they be a some American say so only obi benya o bibia mu wi asimu ase ya enye bibia yare sisi ame no kan ye plans afa nyina no empire ne be sere yankopon so be ma ya hoden na December 7 fa beto ye so you wo a last rapper bibi fufuro bia e kan ho bia yare bia na beto a obeye mobo e ma wa asem ye